So I feel like I've gotten pretty good at finding pieces that are like Doen-y or literally by Doen for decent prices as I've like gotten more and more into the brand over the last year, 2 years. So I wanted to share some of my tips and like how you can find Doen-y pieces when you don't have like $500 to spend on a dress. We're gonna start from most expensive ways to least expensive ways. And yes, I am dressed for the occasion with my little vintage cable knit sweater and hair scarf. Sweater is vintage J. Crew, which foreshadowing for later, and hair scarf is just thrifted, also foreshadowing for later. But most expensive way is to find Doen pieces secondhand. The one Doen sweater that I found on the RealReal 2 years ago, and what I found is the best prices for Doen pieces are on the RealReal if you're looking off season. I'll start by going to the brand and then I'll put in my sizes and sort low to high, and it's honestly just like a lot of scrolling through and figuring out what they have for you. And basically as I see pieces that I might be interested in, I'll open them in a new tab. Like these little linen shorts, I'm pretty sure are from this current season, but people aren't really buying them right now because we're getting into fall, it's colder weather. People aren't thinking about wearing linen. Also finding pieces maybe from past seasons. One thing that is really nice is I feel like a lot of Doen's pieces are generally like quote unquote timeless because they're very much inspired by vintage silhouettes. And so you can find really sweet pieces. But what I'm thinking about is I feel like it can be easy because Doen pieces are so expensive firsthand to get wrapped up in like, oh, well, this is a lot cheaper than it would be new. But like, do I really want to pay $50 for a pointel t-shirt? No. But would I pay $60 for like a silk blouse? Maybe. Right now, this time of year, as we're getting into fall, I feel like some of the big things to look for are like shorts, maybe little breezy frilly tops, dresses. Most of what I'm doing on the RealReal though is really I'm just scrolling through until I'm finding the pieces that like are interesting to me. And you can find great prices. For me, I'm kind of picky. I am not a huge florals person unless it's in a dress. And so if you're a florals girl, you can find such good floral Doen bits, especially right now, like fall, winter. And those prices are only going to go down as it gets colder. So searching off season, number one, and sorting from low to high. Also, one thing I do want to mention is it can be worth it if you have decided that like this month you have saved up X amount and you're willing to kind of like go all in to get the like $12 for 1 month of seeing everything a day early on the RealReal, because they will have some Doen pieces where they're selling a Doen dress for like $50, but all the people who see it one day earlier are going to get that deal. Obviously that's not guaranteed, but like if I'm looking for something specific, or I know that I'm like this month I'm ready to invest in X, or there's like a piece that's already been super discounted that I know I'll want to get and I think I'll be able to combine shipping, whatever, that can make me feel like it's worth it to pay for that $12, see things a little bit early and find those extra special deals. So that's like most expensive. I think you can also sometimes find good deals on Doen on like Poshmark, but most of the time what I'm seeing for prices, it's the best on the RealReal, because the RealReal is trying to move product. I'm pretty sure all the pricing is done like algorithmically, so if something has been sitting on the website for a long time, it will get much cheaper. Like this black midi dress that I'm gonna order, I've been watching it for a long time. This is really expensive for a dress. It's like $100 and something. But one, I really love this dress and I know that I will wear the crap out of a black midi dress because that is like one of the main things that I want to wear in the summer, and also because it's black, it's something that I can style through the winter, throw a sweater over, and now it's the equivalent of like a black midi maxi skirt. Those are also the things that I'm thinking about when I'm picking which pieces to invest in, because for someone who has the budget to buy Doen new, $100 on a Doen used dress that would normally be like $400 or $500, like that's a great deal. I'm just gonna grab it. But that's still like an investment piece for me. And so I'm still trying to think of what are the pieces that I'm going to get the most wear out of, that are going to fit into my wardrobe best and are a really good deal. Now, the next best way to find Doen-esque, Doen-y pieces is looking for vintage pieces that have a similar vibe. So now that we're in fall, everybody wants cute sweaters. And what I found for finding like Doen-esque sweaters, one of the best ways, like best luck that I've had is looking for vintage J. Crew sweaters. Also doing like reverse image search plus the word poshmark for like specific Doen sweaters if there's a silhouette you like or something like that. So example, the Doen sweater that I have is this one, the Evita Henley. And so like, okay, on Poshmark, someone's asking $600 and no, not for me. And so what I'll do is we right click it and we do search with Google Lens, and then we do Poshmark J. Crew to add context. Okay, so now we start to see some of like, this is a similar silhouette, looks like a little zip sweater, open a new tab. And this one also similar, this cardigan, but it looks like we're also getting some modern J. Crew, which isn't really what I'm looking for, but like this vintage J. Crew cable knit, that's beautiful. The other thing that I'll do if I'm being more open-minded is I'll do Poshmark or eBay, either one, pretty much the same plan either way. And I'll just do vintage J. Crew and then filter for sweaters because that's the main thing that I'm looking for. And see, we're still getting some that are more modern and are like not like this is cute, this feels Doen-y, the cable knit sweaters. I think especially if you're into a cable knit, vintage J. Crew is the way to go. I mean, my favorite vintage sweater is this one, and it is a vintage J. Crew. Also, if you're into any of the Fair Isle knits that Doen has been doing, vintage J. Crew has some really, really good ones. If you're seeing more modern ones getting mixed in, the other thing that I'll do is I will do 100% wool because a lot of modern sweaters will have like polyamide or some other synthetic or just other fibers mixed in as opposed to being a single fiber. And so I found that filtering by 100% wool can a lot of times help narrow it down. So that's like what I'm doing to find sweaters. I'll also do things similarly, pretty much same parameters, looking for sweaters on ThredUp. Vintage J. Crew has my favorite. I think it's literally like my favorite sweaters are vintage J. Crew. Also, vintage Orvis sweaters can be really good. And kind of a similar vibe. Same with like vintage LL Bean. All of these like outdoorsy New England brands, I feel like will tap into really similar things that Doen will with their sweaters. Yeah, like this little embroidered patchwork one is not super for me right now. Another Fair Isle. Oh my gosh, this one has a dog. Also, I would say like vintage Ralph Lauren, blah, blah, blah. Those are probably gonna be more expensive. But Orvis, LL Bean, J. Crew, Ralph Lauren are good. I feel like are really good starting places for finding vintage sweaters that feel Doen-y. Some other pieces that I feel like are very kind of quintessentially Doen are the like frilly white tops, frilly skirts, or like kind of vintage lingerie or pajama inspired pieces that you can wear day to day. For a lot of those, I'm gonna go to the thrift store. I feel like I have the best luck finding vintage nightwear at the thrift store. One of my favorite tops is literally a vintage nightgown that I then hemmed into a little top. Feels very, wait, I'll just grab it one sec. This little white, it's like the cotton ball that they have all the time, has all the little lace trims and things. And this was a nightgown that was like knee length that I found at a thrift store a couple years ago that I just hemmed, and it's now one of my most worn shirts in the summer because it's so lightweight. So searching for 100% cotton, like vintage nightgown, vintage pajamas, like this is beautiful. This like I would literally wear as a dress. Oh my gosh, anyways, what I was saying, this is another one. So like these vintage nightgowns, this is really similar to the one that I have as a shirt. And then you can just hem this and now it looks like a Doen top. But like this, I'm gonna have to heart for sure. Oh no, it's a fake out. Okay, so the other thing that we have to do that I forgot to do this time on eBay when you're looking for things like this, that's so cute. But I'm not a Disney girl like that. The other thing you have to do is, one, I'm doing under $30. I don't want to pay that much. Two, we have to write condition pre-owned because a lot of like drop shipping, whatever, new stuff will put vintage in the title to trick you. And then it is not in fact vintage. Like this is adorable. This little floral nightgown. This literally feels like something that Doen would sell. The other thing that I'll do too is like if you're seeing specific pieces that you like but they're not in your size on eBay, Poshmark, whatever, get the brand name and then you can look for it on ThredUp. You can look for it on eBay specifically now, and like maybe someone didn't categorize it as vintage nightgown, blah blah blah, but you can be like, okay, I like these two Erica Taylor nightgowns. Let me go Erica Taylor nightgown small. See what we get. Look at that. That's adorable. This little top. Like all of these are so cute. So you can find these really sweet pieces. This is beautiful. This looks like a Doen dress with the stuff they're doing with all of the lace trimming right now. Damn, that's really beautiful. I'm gonna have to heart it. I wish it was silk though, but that's just me. But this is also, I feel like low-key the kind of slip that you could wear as a dress. Maybe just like sew the slit down a little bit more. That's getting hearted for sure. So there are like quintessential pieces that I feel like are very Doen-y. So it's the like vintage nightwear inspired daily wear pieces, the vintage like J. Crewy, maybe it's a cable knit, maybe it's a Fair Isle sweater, as well as a little silk scarf. But honestly, I don't think I've ever bought a silk hair scarf online. I just find them at the thrift. I feel like there's always so many at the thrift, and I don't think I've ever spent more than $3 on one. So then the cheapest way to find Doen-esque pieces is to thrift them. Like my little nightgown top that I mentioned that I hemmed, but also we're gonna do a little thrift trip where we are looking for specifically Doen pieces. I'm gonna talk through what things I'm keeping in mind, what sections I'm specifically trying to hit looking for those Doen-esque bits. And yeah, let's head to the thrift store and get into it. For finding pieces that are Doen-y, this crochet lace mat. We're gonna also look at these little embroidered ones, because I feel like edging like this could totally, oh, they have stains. Never mind. What about these? That's really cute. This is a maybe, but the shape of it isn't quite what I'm looking for. Like looking for pieces that have these kinds of details. Is this okay? This tablecloth is actually kind of promising because it feels like it could be a cotton voile and has the lace trim. So maybe we turn this into like a skirt or something. How much is it? Let's see, $5? Yeah, we can make that work. I'll have to make sure it's not stained. Let's see. Alright. The rest of this isn't really speaking to me. Okay. This pillowcase with a little edging. If not for a Doen project, maybe literally just to have as one of the back cushions on my couch, because I'm like getting into the idea of having mismatched cushions and doing like all neutrals, beigey kind of tones. This will go in the cart while I think about it. Okay, another idea. These lace curtains to make like a similar to the lace Sebastian skirt that they came out with. And then if we can find a vintage slip to go underneath, because like I'm not gonna wear this with nothing underneath. That could be really cute. And it already has this. Maybe we put a drawstring in or just elastic through the curtain rod part of it. Oh, it does actually have a stain though. All right, maybe I'll come back for it. We'll see. Super cute and feels a little bit Doen-y with the pattern, but I wish it was a little bit shorter and maybe more of like a Fair Isle as opposed to all the floral here. But we're getting there, and it's 100% wool, so I love a natural fiber. This jacket feels like Doen-y to me. I think it's just a really classic collar and cut, but then it has all this floral embossing. I'm really tempted by it. I like that it's a little bit cropped too. $10. Putting it in the cart, we'll try it on and see how true to me it feels. The next section we have to check for Doen inspired pieces, or honestly the kind of pieces that Doen is getting inspired by, is the PJ's nightwear section. So let's see what they got. And while I'm going through here, like, to try and find pieces, most like Doen and that I know I'm gonna wear, I'm looking for natural materials, like 100% cotton, maybe a silk blend, also bits of lace. Like, see, this is a nylon, and this taping on the side, if this was a Doen piece, it would have the little edging of the lace along the outside instead of like this tape. So it's also looking for little details that kind of elevate the pieces. These are straight up like long underwear from REI, but the color is not this snot green in person. It's more like a pistachio, and I could see Doen coming out with something like this in like the spring, maybe in more of a pointelli material. So we're not gonna get these, but like keep an eye out for like what's essentially long underwear, because a lot of times that'll be in a pointel fabric. Or oh my gosh, also I didn't get to show you guys this top, but it feels very Doen-y to me. It's a silk, but it has that like cotton wall kind of floaty semi-sheerness. Now it's not something that I would normally really reach for, but like the edging and how floaty it is felt very Doen to me. So I'm gonna try it on and see how the fit is. It's also half price, so it would be $2, and we'll see like what the vibe is. But I feel like the way they'd style this is with like have it all flowy, but then like tucked in so it's cinched at the waist into some high-waisted jeans or trousers with a little belt and maybe some like Mary Janes. So let's try it on, see what the fit's like, and then we'll make a decision. So here's this top down, and I really don't love the look. I mean, I think this is a top where like I like the idea of it, but not how it looks on my body type, because I do like double layer, the sheer, feels a little Chloe-y. But I'm gonna try like hiking my pants up and belting them and tucking it in and see if I like it more. Here's it tucked in, and I was trying to figure out like what about the fit of it. Obviously these pants are not ideal because they're meant to be worn lower and are just kind of baggy, but I was trying to figure out like why doesn't this really work for me. And I think it's because the sleeves are much more fitted than the rest of the body here. One sec, I'll show you. I think if the sleeves were a little bit flowier, I would have to get it, but because they're not, it's not quite right, and I think I have to leave it behind, leave it for someone else who will appreciate the fitted sleeves. We're home and doing the full haul. I have the thrifted piece I got on Poshmark, and then a couple actual Doen pieces that I got on the RealReal. Doing a little unboxing haul, so let's get into it. I'll try them on, style them, and kind of talk through why I picked these pieces and all that kind of stuff. The first piece is this little frilly white top. I feel like a little frilly top is probably the most Doen. A frilly top or a frilly skirt feel like the most quintessentially Doen pieces to me. And then after that, you know, we have the beautiful midi, maxi dresses, all that stuff. But I felt like finding a frilly little top from Doen on the RealReal for under $100. I want to say this is like $76. It's a really good deal compared to what the prices are brand new, and also felt like really worthwhile in terms of kind of trying to prioritize what pieces you're investing in your wardrobe. So like styling this then with like thrifted jeans, shoes, bag, everything else, this top will still very much make the outfit scream Doen and can really be like your kind of statement piece if you really love their clothes, their styling, that kind of stuff. So that's why I grabbed it. Let's try it on. Hopefully it fits, and I'll put together a little outfit. So here is the outfit. Styling little frilly top. Let me get this over. So I have this vintage J. Crew cable knit cardigan, one of my go-tos, and it's actually funny, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this cardigan is how I learned about Doen. I wore it and someone in the store was like, oh my gosh, I love your cardigan. Is it from Doen? And I was like, oh no, it's vintage. And then I Googled them and obviously fell in love with the brand. But yeah, vintage J. Crew cardigan on top, because with a little frilly top like this, like it is fall now and very much so, I'm not gonna wear a top just like this without a sweater on top. So I had to grab my go-to vintage Levi's jeans, went for a higher waist because the top is a bit cropped, and then went for my vintage Gucci loafers that I got in the RealReal a few years back, and the outfit like this. probably going for the basket bag. I think it kind of ties in really well with the texture of the sweater. Just in general, so much of Doen styling is with wicker bags, and so I feel like a wicker woven bag is such a good way to automatically pull your outfit more in that direction. And then went with the loafers because I feel like in general they go for really classic shoe silhouettes, and these are extremely classic. And I love that the brown is tying in with the brown buttons. But now let's try on the neck piece from the Real. So I did have to bring the cardigan back out because these are summery pieces. Definitely part of why they were so discounted, but it's fall now. And so to help them transition, I had to throw a sweater on. This is the dress. It's really beautiful. I'm really excited about it. I'd had my eye on it for a really long time. I had watched the price go do until it got to a point where I was like, okay, I think I can justify that price to myself for this. Again, paired it with the cardigan. This cardigan feels very Doen-y. It's just a very classic cable knit cardigan. I love the brown buttons. And then I'm going for my brown buckle boots. Again, like a really classic style. These are thrifted. I think I got them 1 or 2 years ago for like $10. They're really heavy duty leather. I put Arch Sports in, so they're pretty comfy too. And I feel like the sweater plus boots automatically make this feel much more fall and a little bit more casual, because both of these pieces are a bit more casual. I think it would be really easy to also dress up this, maybe do, or even just like style it as a skirt. Maybe let's do that. I'm gonna try out the pullover sweater, and then maybe keep the boots because I really like them together. Here is just styling this as a skirt, which I feel like honestly how I'll probably end up wearing it so that I can get some wear out of it this fall and going into winter. This cardigan is thrifted, it's old, French Connection. It's a little Angora blend. Sometimes it's itchy and sometimes it's not. I don't know really what the like variable is, but like it's a 50-50 when I try it on if it's gonna be too itchy or not. Today it feels fine. Again, went for the basket bag. I think it's really sweet. I think it also kind of tones down the really intense contrast of the red and the black together, and the handles tying with the boots. I think the boots also help to soften that a little bit. But yeah, like I think this would just be such a sweet way to wear this for like Thanksgiving, or honestly just going out and about this fall. Now let's get to the thrift haul. The Doen-y pieces I found and bought. I mean, it really is just going to depend what is available at your thrift store, but there are definitely specific pieces that I feel like can be really easy to find, and like ways to style them that just will make anything feel like Doen adjacent or more like Doen-y, as I've been calling it. Doen-esque, that's a better word. Let's get into it. So one of the first things I grabbed was just this little crochet placemat, or like doily. And this is another one that I think we're going to put in the thrift flips pile. I was partially just grabbing anything that had materials or textures that felt Doen-esque to me, because I think you can totally DIY some pieces to have like a similar vibe. I was hoping to find a second one of these, and I wanted to be able to do a similar thrift flip to what I want to say Lainey Ozark did in like a TikTok or something, where she had 2 placemats and like sewed them together at the top and on the sides to make a really cute little crochet tank top. But I feel like you could also really easily turn this into a little bag, just like folding it in half and stitching around the corners. So maybe we'll do that. Again, this is going in the thrift flips pile. And there's one other piece I didn't actually get at this thrift store, but got at a consignment shop, and the woman running it was just really sweet. So they had a bunch of stuff on a table outside that was just pay what you wish, because they needed to make space for new inventory. And I brought this in and was going up to pay, and she's like, I'm not going to charge you anything for it. Just like come back and check us out and visit us. But it's this really beautiful table runner. Vintage embroidery, really pretty lace edging, and all the cutouts. This feels really similar to the edging they have on some of their skirts and tops. And I just feel like I could totally turn this into a little like top or something. So this is also going in the thrift flips pile. But just a shout out to like, if you are a sewer or are getting in, or like want to try a little DIY, I feel like you can definitely put something together that is like Doen-esque if you're finding the right materials. I grabbed this beautiful, I think it's silk, it feels like silk scarf. It feels very old. It's almost like transparent. And I thought it was really cute that it had the little diagonal line going through it, because the way that I'm gonna wear it is by folding it on that line and then tying it around my hair like a little hair scarf. And I think styling an outfit with a hair scarf is one of the top ways to make an outfit feel like Doen-y. So like here, example of the outfit I'm currently wearing. Here we go. And they do a lot like this, but I'm less into like this styling. I'm more into using it almost as like a headband hair scarf. Here we go. So like a little patterned silk scarf is definitely like a really easy accessory to find at the thrift store. Sometimes you have to dig a little bit through the scarves, but I want to say this was $2.99, and you can find really incredible deals for pieces like this. Also, this is so cute with the polka dots. I love the cobalt blue. But like now this outfit feels way cuter. Let me put my shoes back on so we can get the full effect. So I have these little pumps, thrifted also a few years ago. Brand is Paul Mayer Attitudes. They're very comfy. If you see this brand at the thrift, grab it. Again, a really classic kind of shoe silhouette. And I'm gonna just go for the straw bag. Like I'm always gonna wanna go for the straw bag. It makes everything feel cute. This outfit feels very Doen-y to me. Little pointel tee. T-shirt is from Gap. Pants are still here that I found secondhand. Bag's thrifted. Scarf is obviously thrifted. Shoes are thrifted. And so it's like, if you just find the like accessories and the materials that tap into kind of like the style kind of foundations of the brand, I feel like that's how you can put together outfits that will feel very like Doen-esque without actually needing a single piece to be from the brand or to be like super fancy, expensive, whatever. Next is this slip skirt, and it is nylon, I'm not gonna lie, and normally I wouldn't pick something up if it's not the exact material I want, but I'm okay with this nylon. Like something about it doesn't feel, I don't know, like windbreakery, because sometimes some of the old slips will feel a little bit windbreakery. But the reason why I grabbed it was this lace trim just feels so similar to the lace details that Doen is doing on so many of their pieces right now. And this really still like beautiful kind of weirdly luxe nylon that could totally be mistaken for a satin. Now this is an actual slip, so it is semi-transparent. So I will probably be styling it either with like little shorts underneath or with a longer sweater. But let's try it on and make some outfits. Here is the slip skirt, and honestly, I think I got like a little overexcited about the lace edging because I don't think that I would necessarily wear this in real life. Like I like the outfit I put together, but the slip is just saying full-on slip a little too much for me. I think it's largely like the way the elastic gathers at the top and the material, which makes sense. So a little bit disappointing. I still think it's really beautiful and like styled in this way feels Doen-esque to me, but I just want to be honest and like for myself, I don't see me like reaching for this to style it out and about really, because I think I would just feel a little bit self-conscious. So this one might end up going back to the thrift, or maybe I'll figure out a way to do something with it in my thrift flips video. The last piece is this adorable jacket. You might have seen it in a recent thrift haul because I couldn't resist the trip that I got it on. I shot some stuff specifically looking for Doen-y pieces, and then some pieces that were just for fun and that I liked. So cutie little coat, and I wanted to dress it up a little bit because I think this coat is just like so cute and feels so perfect to be dressed up a little bit for fall. So I'll start with the base outfit and then we'll talk about the coat. Capris are thrifted. I think they are originally like a Target brand shoes, the same little thrifted ballet pumps. Button up, also thrifted. I want to say the brand is like Flatiron Workshop or something like that. It's 100% silk, has kind of an interesting collar. I like the cream. I think it looks really nice with the greeny beige of the jacket. And then jacket is thrifted, brand is Rena Rowan. And all the details on this just feel so Doen-y to me. The like classic silhouette, the really beautiful embossing in the material, the fur trim on everything, And to style it with this outfit, I'm okay with it open, but I don't love how the bottom of this shirt looks with this. So like when I'm wearing the coat, I'd probably just do like a low-key little tie like that, and then just button the coat up all the way so you don't see the shirt tails peeking out from the bottom, or I would just tuck them in. But I really, really love the way this jacket looks buttoned up. I think it's just like almost quaint, just very, very sweet and classic and feminine. And I just think it's adorable. And then for a bag for this, I initially grabbed this woven one, but it doesn't feel quite right now. Let me think for a second. My go-to shiny brown bag that I've had for a long time. This was the first designer bag I ever got myself. It was on the Real. Brand is Dolce & Gabbana. I just really love the structure and the polish that it has. And I think the brown looks really good with this outfit. But yeah, last Doen-y thrifted piece is this beautiful jacket that I know I'm just gonna wear so much. All right, we're gonna have to tuck in the shirt. There we go. But I know I'm just gonna wear so much, and I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I know most of you aren't subscribed. What the heck? Come on. I want to see you every week. If you want to see more of me, I do things on TikTok and Instagram. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.